Well, here we are, another fantastic week. Thank you for the two of you that gave some kind of response. There we go. Now we got 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, we're starting to get some. Everybody's hearing us. They're starting to run in the doors. So we'll try something here real quick. Good morning. Wonderful, wonderful. Somebody wake that guy up, would you? No, I'm just kidding. Well, this song talks about getting up in the morning. Doesn't mean early. May mean after one of those long winter slumbers, you know, that kind of thing. But sometimes you get up and you don't know what you're going to do for the day, or nothing's really planned, but we can always get up with optimism. Is that correct? We can be optimistic instead of pessimistic. Is the glass half full or is it half empty? What's your outlook? Sometimes that's just a matter of perspective. So here we go. This is going to be something you can sing along with us. Yeah.
In the morning when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance.
In the morning
when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance. In the morning when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance.
In the morning
when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance.
And I'm so grateful for a new hope that comes with a brand new day. With the rising of the sun, all our fears and doubts are swept away. In the morning when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance. It's okay to get your boogie on. In the morning when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance. In the morning
when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance.
In the morning
when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance.
I'm so grateful for a new hope that comes with a brand new day. And with the rising of the sun, all our fears and doubts can be swept away. Spirit's always here to raise me from a depth to higher place. So what do we got to do? Open up our hearts and let the beauty of God's love come in. Starting to see some people smile.
In the morning when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance.
In the morning
when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance. In the morning when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance.
In the morning
when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance. Let's sing, let's dance, let's celebrate. Together we can be one voice. Let's sing, let's dance, let's celebrate. Everybody make a joyful noise. Let's sing, let's dance, let's celebrate. Together we can be one voice.
Let's sing,
let's dance, let's celebrate. Everybody make a joyful noise.
Woo-hoo! Can you put your hands together? Let's start some energy in here. Hey!
Let's sing, let's dance, let's celebrate. Together we can be one voice. Let's sing, let's dance, let's celebrate. Everybody make a joyful noise.
Let's sing,
let's dance, let's celebrate. Together we can be one voice. Let's sing, let's dance, let's celebrate. Everybody make a joyful noise.
They're going to make me do this. So here we go. Let's give this a try. Now God is good and God is great. If you give me just a minute, I'll elaborate. I got a new heart, a new life, regenerated mind, and a future with him that can't be measured by time. I'm going to hang with him for the rest of my days, as long as I'm able going to give him praise. So get up and get into this thing. Put your hands in the air and give it up for the King.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
In the morning when
I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance. In the morning when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance. In the morning when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance. In the morning
when I rise, I will lift up mine eyes, and behold, I will dance.
Oh, let's
dance!
Wow. Good morning, Unity of Omaha. My name is Elisa Choquette. I'm your friendly neighborhood board president and happy to be with you today. We have a very special guest today. Reverend Jen Dickey is our special speaker, so that's going to be just an even more special Sunday than it already is at Unity of Omaha. And being March, we're celebrating Women's History this month. And as such, today we wanted to honor the current minority congresswomen that are here. And we definitely just celebrate the inclusivity, the diversity. Didn't have my coffee this morning. Knowing that we are one and that we want to continue to see that trend, right? We don't think about the lack that we may see. We think about the abundance and knowing that there's even more diversity, inclusivity, and women's voices on the way, and we celebrate it. So, yes, indeed. So other than Reverend Jen today, we have some awesome stuff going on afterwards as usual. We have our Healing Arts team is sponsoring their second Sunday drumming circle. So that'll be in the history room here at noon and a beautiful experience. So stick around for that. Also, amazing news, the new website is up and going. It's phenomenal, fresh, modern, easy to navigate. It lets people know about who we are, literally with pictures and bios and what Unity believes. And also wherever you go to, you can find out just an easy tab to click to the events. And we're going to have a calendar that's going to have all of the events, both internal and others that are here. And they can click on that date and find out more information. It's just so user-friendly. And we're really excited to get the word out. So if you want to go peruse the website today while you're having your coffee underneath the sheets, underneath the blanket, all cozy this afternoon, go ahead and take a look at that. unityofomaha.org. And then next weekend, we have another special guest speaker. Reverend Brenda is doing the global faiths and religions this year. And so once a month, we like to focus on a different faith or philosophy. And next Sunday, it's going to be Islam. And we're going to have, oh no, I didn't bring my glasses, Abdullah. I can look behind me. There we go, Najjar. And so he is a phenomenal speaker, and he's going to not only speak on Islam, but also on some of the mystic traditions. So we don't want to miss out. That's going to be a really fabulous talk, I'm sure. So be there. And it also coincides with Hippie Sunday. We definitely celebrate oneness at Unity of Omaha because it's spring. So spring says, this is the day to do Hippie Sunday. So that's the day that we have all of the great 60s and 70s music. We encourage you to come dressed as a hippie. For some of us, that means digging in the closets. For some of us, it's just what we wear every day. So be there. It's going to be a really fabulous service next Sunday. All right, so one more thing I do want to mention before we go into our vision and mission, and that is for those of you that signed up for the leadership training that's taking place 2 weekends from now. If you did not receive a survey, I know things get lost in the email, and sometimes our Reverend Greg Coles, who is facilitating it, he sent out a survey that he would like those attending to fill out, and the due date is today. So if you did not receive that survey, come see me afterwards. I can get it to you. And if you do have it and you've been waiting on finishing it, today's the day. So thank you for doing that. It's going to be a fantastic time to be together and grow in our leadership. All right, so why we're doing all of these things is because it's a part of our vision. So let's say that vision together in the prayerful energy that it is. In oneness with universal energy, we celebrate a world united in divine love. And the way we do that is through our mission. We raise vibrational consciousness through creative teachings, positive prayer, and a nurturing community. Indeed, we do. And one of the things we do best, prayer and meditation. So we're going to lean into that time right now. So I invite you to lower your gaze or close your eyes as we move into that energy of the stillness. Be still and know. And so take a deep breath in and release that. And just feel yourself sink into the chair. Feel your mind clear of any of the worries that may have been brought into the space today. And in this time of meditation, remember that we are the awareness. We are not the thought. We are the one aware of the thought. And so as thoughts arise during this time of stillness, we gently notice them and we release them as if a bubble just floating up into the sky with no judgment. Just aware, oh, I had that thought. And then we return to the stillness, grounded in our breath, grounded in knowing that at our core we are divine. And this is our beautiful moment to now take time to connect, to elevate, to listen, and to just be. And we take that into the silence now. And coming back into the space slowly as the observer, as the awareness. We feel ourselves in our chair. We feel ourselves taking a cleansing breath, bringing us back to the now, and opening our eyes as we're ready. Giving thanks for that time of renewal and meditation. And once again affirming that whatever those thoughts were, that whatever the busyness of the day has brought before stepping into here, that we are not the busyness. We affirm that we are the I am. We are the observer of the busyness. So despite that maybe feeling not great, we know that all is well with who we truly are and what truly is. We are divine, and we are here at the perfect time to do what is mine, ours to do, and we are enough. So whether we are moving out today with projects that we're looking forward to accomplish or not looking forward to accomplish, whether we have a task list that's on our mind and causing us stress, or whether we're planning a day just snuggled up in bed, either way, we are enough. And whether we are going out and meeting friends, surrounded by friends and family we love, both giving and receiving that energy of love, or whether today we just know that I'm good being on my own. Either way of those, we are enough. We are enough no matter how we show up today, no matter the mistake I made just coming in today, I am enough. Whether all the mistakes we made yesterday, we were enough then, we're still enough today, we will be enough tomorrow, because at our core, we are divine. And therefore, being enough means that we are worthy of all the good that has been in our life and all the good that is yet to come. And we will be the observer of all that good, grounded in knowing that we are connected eternally to that divine energy and to each other, to the I am, and we are grateful that that alone is enough. And so it is. Amen.
So I'm going to ask everyone to stand for our spirit song.
Let's join together, sing about coming out. What are you coming out of? Coming out a winner.
I want the world to know, got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know, got to let it show.
There's a new me coming out, and I just have to live, and I want to give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around I am gonna do it like you never knew it. Oh, I'll make it through. The time has come for me to break out of the shell. I have to shout that I am coming out. Sing it.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know, got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know, got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know, got to let it show.
I'm coming
out. I want the world to know, got to let it show.
I've got to show the world all that I want to be and all my abilities. There's so much more to me. Somehow I'll have to make them just understand I've got it well in hand. Oh, how I have planned. I'm spreading love. There's no need to fear. I feel so good every time I hear.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming out.
I'm coming.
I want the world to know. Got to let it show.
I'm coming.
I'm coming out.
I'm coming.
I want the world to know. Got to let it show.
Now let's listen to the band.
I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming out. I want the world to know. Got to let it show. I'm coming out.
I'm coming.
I want the world to know. Got to let it show.
I'm coming.
I'm coming out.
I'm coming.
I want the world to know. Got to let it show.
Everybody, real big one time.
I'm coming out.
And today's daily words of inspiration are brought to us by our chaplain, Terry Danter. And she will be able to hold you in prayer as well over at the prayer chapel after service. So thank you, Terry. And today's selected verse is from Brene Brown, one of our favorites here at Unity. And Brene Brown says, "Spirituality emerged as a fundamental guidepost in wholeheartedness, not religiosity, but the deeply held belief that we are inextricably connected to one another by a force greater than ourselves, a force grounded in love and compassion. For some of us, that's God. For others, it's nature, art, or even human soulfulness. I believe that owning our worthiness is the act of acknowledging that we are sacred. Perhaps embracing vulnerability and overcoming numbing is ultimately about care and feeding of our spirits."
So it appears that Reverend Brenda's theme for this month has to do with resistance and letting it go and just owning what is happening in the moment and understanding that all things work to the good of those who love God. So this song is about the silence and finding God. Okay. In the silence, there is peace. In the silence, there is unspoken joy. In the silence, there's release from a world filled with chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments, and I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence, I find God. I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's relief from a world filled with chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments, and I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence, so I wait for these precious moments, and I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God. I find God. I find God. I find myself.
Good morning, Unity of Omaha. That is one of my favorite songs, and you sang it so beautifully. I love the energy here. We're starting out with, we have Diana Ross, and then we're taking it down to In the Silence. I love it. I'm so honored to be here. Thank you to Reverend Brenda, who is one of my classmates. She graduated in the ministerial class before mine, and just grateful to have the invitation to be here this morning. So my talk is Stop Pushing the River. And I like to familiarize myself when I visit another church to see, okay, well, what's the order of service? What is the flow like here? And so this morning when I got up, I sat down, I had my cup of coffee, and I was taking a look at the service from last week, and I noticed that the topic is non-resistance. And there was one word that came out of my mouth, which I will not repeat. And my head immediately started spinning. I thought, I'm talking about this topic too. I'm going to have to change it. What can I do? And all of this came into mind. So I want you to hear that Reverend Brenda and I did not collaborate. And she said, they really need to hear this again. So I know that y'all have been working on this past week. So I just invite you today to have an open heart and open mind as we're going to go ahead and go back into this process of non-resistance. So our ego is often what trips us up. I think I understand a healthy ego and an unhealthy ego. And this morning I got into that space where there was that unhealthy ego that was coming up and thinking, well, I have to make something different, I have to do something better. And yet here we are in the Lenten season where we're doing 40 days of letting go. And all of that entire process is about non-resistance. And I also believe that there are no original ideas in New Thought. It's all ancient wisdom that we draw from all of the spiritual teachings. It's one of the things I love about Unity is that we honor all spiritual paths, whether you call it God, Allah, Spirit, Universe, whatever your name for God is. So I invite you to carry that in throughout this talk. So why do we get into non-resistance? Panic, fear. The idea that there's something that we need to control and it's on us. In Unity, we believe we are both human and divine. So when we understand who and whose we are, we come into that realization that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. So while we're rooted in the teachings and the reality that we have been given by birthright, all of the power that God possesses to create, to be in beauty, to be able to transform our thoughts and change our mind and change our lives, we also have fear and that unhealthy ego that says that I need to control this. And really, I think that with every experience, including the one I had this morning, there's always something to learn. There's always a growth opportunity. So life is calling for our flexibility. I have a friend of mine I was talking with the other day who was going through a challenging time. And she pulled me aside and said, hey, can I talk to you? And I said, of course. And she was emotional in talking about what was going on in her life. And it was just, as I was listening to her, it just felt like this domino effect of it started out as one thing, and then I just watched it grow into just all of this kind of chaos. And as I was sitting with her, that thought occurred to me, I could stop her and kind of talk her off the ledge, but I decided to be quiet. And I decided to just let her talk through this process. And then by the end, she was emotionally exhausted and said, okay. And there was no solution in what she was experiencing at that time. At my nature, I am a Virgo. I'm an empath. I'm an Enneagram 2. So, so I'm among my people, which I love. So we're those that want to help, want to listen, want to make everything better. And while that has many benefits, it can also trip us up. I can trip myself up. And what I found with her was that in being quiet, she was able to fully express all that was going on. Because if we stop that, if we interrupt that, it's kept in here, it's kept inside, and it will come up again another time. So to allow her to have that full experience. So if we want to live from a place of authenticity, we must be willing to examine and clear away our limiting beliefs, our fears, and our illusions of the mind. And I think in the world that we live in, even from an early age, we're taught to be strong. We're taught to put on this armor because the world is big and bad and is out to get us. And if we continue to close ourselves off, if we can pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps, if we can create this persona that, no one is going to hurt me, that's exhausting. So we have already mentally prepared ourselves, consciously prepared ourselves to try and not be hurt. And with that, again, there are gifts to that, and then there are opportunities. And so when we're learning to be flexible, we realize that we can have a different outcome. One of my dear friends is a psychologist. His name is Randall. And one of the things I love that he says to me is, what if things turn out impossibly well? I thought, yeah, that's the psychologist in him. I get it. You're paid to say that. He always tells me anytime I go through something, what if things turned out impossibly well? Michael Arndt says the fluidity of thought is based on the flexibility of beliefs and the emotional boundaries that are surrounding them. I don't know about you. I have my work cut out for me in practicing non-resistance, in letting go. So the goal is not eradication, but it's integration. It's not saying we're never going to have a negative thought again, but it's embracing this and seeing that this is information. This is more to the story that helps me navigate my life. And even in scriptures, the Bible is the story of the history of human consciousness, to see where we start out and what is possible, as was fully demonstrated. So life is calling for our flexibility. I absolutely love, I grew up on the West Coast, so we didn't have really any of these, but I love willow trees. They have this strong, sturdy base, and yet as you go up, they have these most delicate and fragile leaves on them. I used to call it the Eeyore tree. Like, here we are. It just kind of looked sad. It looked a little sad. But as I would just watch the wind blow through the trees, there is this grace and there is this strength and there is this power, and no matter what the winds come, the storms come, it just is. And I believe that too is the strength of God, and it's expressed through us as stability. And that's one of the things within our spiritual practices that we teach here in Unity. It's being rooted in the truth of who we are, being rooted in the reality that we are, again, spiritual beings having this human experience, that there is more to us than what is expressed externally. And there's so much power in that. And that power is what helps us to carry ourselves throughout life. So when we recognize where we're rooted spiritually and mentally, you'll see different responses. So we're in that process of developing peace and wisdom. And there's a question too, is how would I respond to an upsetting situation if I were silent? And I believe that there are times to be silent and times to speak out. And speaking out largely, what's most important to me is when you see an injustice happening in the world, when you see someone who is being treated less than, you speak out. And you speak love, and you speak power, and you get to hold that truth for others. And then there are times that we're spinning in this tornado of thought, and we are just pushing against this river, and we're trying to resist whatever is impacting us. And sometimes we just need to let go. Our spiritual toolboxes, or spiritual tools, as I'd like to think of it as, are not only necessary if they're behind a glass that says break in case of emergency. It's good to have those spiritual tools that we can break in case of an emergency, but we can also be doing this practice throughout our life that helps keep us steady, that helps keep us in that flow. Because when we believe that when we block that flow, we're blocking our good. We're blocking what wants to happen. I had a friend of mine wanted to give me a love offering to contribute to ministerial school. And I was resistant in that. I thought, this is mine to do. And I thanked her and I said, I can't receive your gift. And she looked at me and she said, girl, don't block my blessing. Yes, ma'am. All right. So there are all kinds of things that are coming for our good. And had I been resistant, I wasn't even thinking about her. I was thinking about me. Because again, that's all I ever think about is me. But I stepped out and I thought, wow, don't block my blessing. Don't be that dam, don't be that blockade. Just allow yourself to be in the flow. And I think we can get into habits and patterns of saying, well, I'm always this way. I always react that way. Or maybe you look at someone else. Do not nudge the person next to you and say, oh, they're just that way. That's how they show up all the time. I like the powerful words, until now. I showed up in a way that was defensive until now. And what that does is it brings us back to that power that we are not victims of our circumstance. We are not hostage to our thoughts. And I know very well that is so easy to fall into. And I feel stuck, and I feel alone, and I feel like it is mine to get myself out of this. And I could imagine if we are going to personify God, just going, bless your heart. Bless your heart. There are more options. There are more possibilities. That's what we believe. So life will continue to provide those examples, those experiences, that information for our growth. I can't stand roller coasters, but I'm an adventure person. So I am a motorcycle rider. I love fishing, and I love whitewater rafting. Okay, so we have some more in here who are adventure babies. You're a Virgo too, right? Yeah. Okay, so that makes total sense. We got another one over here. Okay, we're growing. Anybody else? No. So with whitewater rafting, you put the helmet on, you have the vest on, and you're just ready to go. And before you even do all that, they stop you and say, here's what happens if and when you fall out of the raft. I thought, well, I'm not putting that in my consciousness. I'm staying in the raft, having a good time. But they talk about all of that. They talk about what you need to do, and what they tell you to do is completely counterintuitive. They tell you to float on your back, lay on your back, put your feet up, and go down the river. And that fights against everything, I think, that fight or flight of, if I go in, I'm getting to safety, I'm doing that. But they just tell you to relax and to go with the flow. And the reason they have you go feet first is because there are rocks and there are obstacles. There's a reason there's white water. It's because there are rocks and obstacles. And how true is that in life, that we are called spiritually to put our feet up, to trust what we have been armored with. And here I talked about earlier about taking off the armor. But at the same time, we have that wisdom, we have that knowledge, we have that power. Every gift that God has bestowed is in us to be able to handle whatever it is that we are experiencing in life. Life is calling for our flexibility. So when we live with the belief that things really do happen for us, not to us, we can create miracles in every moment. And I know that when we walk out of these doors today, we're kind of snapped back to reality, that there is a safety that this space provides. And yet I want to remind everyone here that this building is gorgeous. I've never been here, I've never been to Omaha. This building just made me smile as soon as I walked in, because I felt the love, I felt the presence, and we are the church in the world. So while we step out into all the busyness, into the resistance. I believe that life is intended to be an experience of love, not of war, not of conflict. And yet it happens. It's an obstacle, it's an object for us to navigate. We learn to pivot, we learn to thrive and transform. And being in community reminds us that we're not alone. Look at the person next to you or near you and tell them they're not alone. Yeah. We are not alone in what we're going through. Our circumstances may look different, but at the core, we all have those basic needs, those basic desires to be seen, to be loved, to be empowered. So you may not know where you lay your head tonight, because that's true for some people. But we can know that God is our refuge. We may not know where that next paycheck is coming from, but we know and believe that God is our source and that the universe is ever conspiring for our good, for our favor. Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore says, "I do not inherit sickness because I am a child of God." Now, that doesn't mean when we get sick, we need to beat ourselves up. That's, again, part of the human experience is that we have that. But we recognize that whatever condition it is that is presenting in our life, we don't give it power. We stand in our truth that we are divine beings. And we do not inherit sickness. We do not allow that to cloud our mind. And her husband, also co-founder Charles Fillmore, says, "We must learn to let go and to give up and make room for the things we have prayed for and desired." So can we remain flexible, humble, and teachable? So when life's river is raging and you feel the need to hold back, to push back, to be that blockade, get out of the damn way. And by dam, it is that barricade. As we well know with dams, that their whole role is to hold back, to push back. That's not our role. You can do that if you want. You can sign yourself up for that. But get out of the way and just allow whatever wants to flow. We are here to be vessels, a channel, non-resistant. Stop pushing the river. Thank you so much, and I invite you to go forth and be the love and the light that you are. Namaste. So now, my understanding is this time in the service, that it's time to give our offering, give our monetary donations, our time, our talents, whatever you have. Each and every person who is here today has something to give. These incredible musicians and singers have something to give. So if you are feeling spiritually fed this morning, if you are feeling blessed by this community, I invite you to take whatever gift you have, whether you hold it in your heart, if you're using text to give, we have those who are online as well. You can also go through PayPal or by the mail, whatever works for you. I invite those that will be coming up in a moment to give their financial gift and to also take an affirmation. And if you don't have money at this time, you are always welcome. You are always invited to come up and get that blessing and be seen. So I invite all of us now to hold our gifts in our hearts, and we speak our offering, blessing, or affirmation. All that can be in divine abundance. And so it is. I invite you to come on up. I'm going to come out of the way.
Living in the house of the soul's belonging, where you know without a doubt that you made it home. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, coming back to the holy ground that you've always known.
In the kingdom of love, there is no competition, no contradiction, and no control. But you can take possession and claim your passion, working on a building that cannot be bought or sold.
Living in the house of the soul's belonging, where you know without a doubt that you made it home. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, coming back to the holy ground that you've always known.
Step into the feeling of sweet surrender. Let yourself remember just who you are, and you can take your own sweet time and ease your troubled mind in the secret sanctuary of the heart. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, where you know without a doubt that you made it home. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, coming back to the holy ground that you've always known. There is room for all the kindness you can hold, and you know you can take it with you everywhere you go. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, where you know without a doubt that you made it home. Living in the house of the soul's belonging, coming back to the holy ground that you've always known. Coming back to the holy ground that you've always known. Coming back to the holy ground
that you've always known.
So for those that are online and those that are here, we just bless these gifts that have been given before us. Bless these gifts knowing that they are love made manifest, that they are helping this ministry and helping move the unity movement throughout. We've often heard that unity is the best kept secret. No, we're not. We are not. We are here to be. We are here to shine. And so we bless each and every one of these gifts that have been given us today and the wonderful hands and hearts that are behind them. Amen. Thank you again for an amazing service. And thank you so much for Reverend Brenda and to everybody who's just made me feel so welcome. I love your community and hope to get to come back. So I invite you all to join us as we do the prayer for protection. So if you can stand as you are able. I'll say the words in yellow. But y'all already know that. That's just me. So that was my cue of yellow. Okay, gotcha. The light of God surrounds me. The love of God enfolds me. The power of God protects me. And the presence of God watches over me. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. Have a beautiful day.